In a lot of ancient prophecies, you'll hear this really powerful idea, the beginning of the birth pains. It's this idea of a time of incredible turmoil right before a new age dawns. So today, we're going to dig into what that really means.
So let's get right to the heart of it. The material we're diving into today asks a question that honestly has fascinated people for centuries. If you look at both history and prophecy, who's the chief villain of the end of days story? Well, the text we're examining points to two major contenders. In today's world, it puts forward Islam, pointing to its eschatology, that's just a word for its end times theology, as a big driver of conflict. But, and this is key, our source says that to really understand the original prophecies, you have to rewind, go all the way back to the Apostolic Era. And back then, the villain wasn't a mystery at all. It was the mighty Roman Empire.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to unmask that ancient foe first. You got to remember, the New Testament wasn't written in some kind of vacuum. The people writing it had a villain staring them right in the face, and that villain was Rome. Now, what's really fascinating is how they talked about Rome. I mean, you couldn't just come out and criticize the empire. That was a one-way ticket to prison, or worse. So, to talk about their oppressor, the ancient rabbis and apostles, they got creative. They developed this kind of code, a secret language made of symbols, all hidden right there in plain sight.
All right, so let's do a little code breaking ourselves. In this next part, we're going to decode the exact ciphers, the prophecies, and the symbols they used to talk about the Beast of Rome.
You know, the code actually starts in a pretty surprising place, way back in the book of Genesis. It's the story of two rival brothers, Jacob and Esau. And the prophecy their mother received, well, it wasn't just about some family squabble. People saw it as the origin story for two warring nations, locked in this epic struggle that would last forever.
And right there is our first key to cracking this whole thing. See, the nation that came from Esau was called Edom, and the source makes it super clear. By the time of the apostles, if you heard a rabbi talking about Edom, you knew he wasn't giving a history lesson on some ancient tribe. Nope, he was using a secret code word for Rome.
And you can see just how deep this code really went. It started with two brothers, right? Esau and Jacob. Then it grew to represent two whole peoples, Edom and Israel. From there, it became the symbol for the struggle between the Roman Empire and the Jewish people, and eventually, it got even bigger, representing a cosmic battle between the entire kingdom of this world and the kingdom of Israel.
Okay, let's add another layer to the code. This one comes from the prophet Daniel. He has this vision of four terrifying beasts coming up out of the sea. And each beast stood for a world empire, one after another, that would completely dominate the known world.
The source is pretty clear on the first three. You've got the winged lion, that's Babylon. Then the bear, representing the Medo-Persian Empire. After that comes the winged leopard, which symbolized Alexander the Great's Greek Macedonian Empire. But then came the fourth beast.
And this one was different. It wasn't like a lion or a bear. It was just dreadful, terrifying, incredibly strong, with these huge iron teeth. It just crushed and trampled everything it came across. For the people living at that time, there was absolutely no doubt who this horrifying beast was. It was the Roman Empire.
And there's another animal they added to the code, the pig. Now, why a pig? Well, it all comes down to one word: hypocrisy. See, a pig has split hooves, so it kind of looks clean according to one of the biblical rules, but it doesn't chew the cud, so it isn't. The rabbis thought this was the perfect symbol for Rome, an empire that robbed and oppressed people, all while pretending it was bringing justice to the world.
So, if Rome is the beast, the ultimate villain, then you'd expect a massive showdown with the coming Messiah, right? That's what people were waiting for. But as our source explains, when Yeshua, or Jesus, finally arrived, the confrontation didn't go down the way anybody expected.
Think about this one incredible story from the Gospels. Yeshua comes face to face with a man possessed by a demon. And when he asks the demon for its name, it gives this absolutely chilling answer. My name is Legion, for we are many.
But you have to stop and think, what did that word legion actually mean to someone listening to the story in the first century? A Roman legion, that was the main unit of the Roman army. We're talking 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers. So that one word, legion, it wasn't just a name. It represented the full, crushing military power of the Roman occupation.
So you see, this story wasn't just about a simple exorcism. The source presents it as this little apocalyptic play, a drama in miniature. You've got the Messiah, face-to-face with Legion, the symbolic power of Rome, and he casts it out into a herd of pigs, the very symbol of Roman hypocrisy. It's like a sneak peek of a much, much bigger battle to come.
And this brings us to this really core idea in ancient Jewish thought, the Shavlei Mashiach. It literally means the birth pangs of the Messiah. It's this belief that before a new age of peace could finally be born, the world would first have to go through this period of intense, painful suffering, just like labor pains.
And here's the big twist in the story. Yeshua didn't raise an army to go fight the beast. Not at all. Instead, he let the beast capture him. According to the source, his execution by the Romans wasn't a defeat. It was actually the fulfillment of prophecy that kicked off those very birth pangs and set the whole final act into motion.
Okay, now we're going to zoom all the way out. I mean, get the widest possible view. We're heading into the book of Revelation. It's an apocalypse, which means its whole purpose is to pull back the curtain and show us the cosmic, spiritual war happening behind all of these events on Earth. So Revelation chapter 12 basically reframes this whole story. We're not just talking about rebels and an empire here on Earth anymore. Now, it's a cosmic war. And the main players are a woman in the heavens, clothed with the sun, and her mortal enemy, a great red dragon.
So who's who in this cosmic drama? Well, according to the source's interpretation, the woman is a symbol for the nation of Israel. Her male child, that's the Messiah. And the great red dragon, that is identified as Satan, the spiritual power that's driving the Roman Empire down on earth.
Now, the vision says this dragon has 7 heads, and this is where it gets really specific. The source identifies them as 7 Roman emperors. Just look at this timeline. It starts with Augustus, when Yeshua was born, then Tiberius, who ordered his execution, all the way down to Titus, the emperor who destroyed Jerusalem and the temple. Each head of the dragon lines up with a major historical clash between the empire and the followers of the Messiah.
So, in the vision, after the Messiah child is born and is caught up to God, which is seen as a reference to the ascension, the dragon is absolutely furious. Since it can't destroy the child anymore, it turns all of its anger and wrath on the woman who gave birth to him, representing the Jewish people, and on her other children who are identified as the disciples of Yeshua.
And this all leads to the source's pretty provocative conclusion that this era of the dragon's wrath, it never actually stopped. The argument is that this ancient framework is a kind of key for understanding history, one that predicts a continuous spiritual war against both the Jewish people and the followers of Yeshua. And that leaves us with a really challenging final thought. Is it possible that a 2,000-year-old code could actually help explain the incredibly complex conflicts we still see all around us today?